This is the final part of the explanation of my ultimate inventory sorter. The previous three sections were a demo, the basics, and showing the start and stop of the system. This one will show some tips and tricks on how to make it work properly. Most importantly being the explanation of using the sorting helper item, which is the snowball for this instance. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, please go back and watch them. Otherwise, continue watching. There are several ways that you can set up your chests to further sort, well, not sort, but combine. For instance, I have set this one up here so that you have diamonds and emeralds, which I feel like keeping together, probably with my gold and maybe my iron, who knows, whatever I wanted to keep together. I've set this one up so that the items will be funneled down into a chest at the bottom and be put together so that I can just find them together, because I don't really think I'll have a lot of diamonds and emeralds just lying around. Another thing to note while you're doing these is make sure that I use chests here to help me use less resources, because chests are cheaper to create for resource wise than hoppers are, but make sure you do not put chests like it would make sense to put a chest right here to combine the two, except for that I wanted to put a light right here. And I'll have to explain that light at a later time. But anyways, if you put a chest right here, nothing can go into the chest if there is a solid block above it. You can't open it, and items cannot be sent from a hopper into it either. So just keep in mind while you're trying to set up whatever you want to further funnel your systems that you need to take into account for the way you set up the hoppers and chests. And as you'll note, my hoppers that I have put underneath are on the right side or the far side of it. You could do it the other way, but I personally like this direction of flow because there's actually the block back there is actually one that gets powered off and on, and there were ways I thought it might bog down the system a little bit, so I chose to put the hopper over here because there is no there's nothing back here that will interfere with its ability to function. You can, however, set up your chests to go straight down. That seems to be a system that works well, and you can set them up to stair step, so if you wanted to make this go on forever down, you could have all your chests here stacked full of items. You probably won't need to access ones at the top because everything will be at the bottom, but this is the section that has everything else. So your items, you may have to find your items that you didn't feel like sorting out in these chests. And this middle section was just something I was tinker around with, how to cook my food if I chose to, or put all my food together. Obviously apples do not cook, so that would be an interesting addition to the game. But chicken, raw chicken and raw steak will cook. So I have the apples funneling down into the final chest that I want right here, and I have the raw chicken and the raw steak funneling to the top of a furnace, and I have coal that funnels down into the side of this furnace. So that's several different ways that I've set up to funnel my items down. For any of you who were wondering what this light here on the end is for and why this one is on and this one is off, these are the chests where the items will end up at the bottom. Now you see this chest is full and this chest is empty. So this light right here is indicating that, if I break this block away, that the hopper that is leading into the chest has an item in it. It will of course blink as the system runs, but if it stays on, you'll know that your inventory space is full. So that comparator points at this block here and turns on that light, and that will tell you that this one is full. And if it's full, then it's time to add more chests. You will of course have this chest up here, if you set it up like I have, you'll have this chest for the overflow of the items that are being sorted. So you will have, quite a while to let things gather together, because you'll have to have a few inventories full of items before this light being on will make a difference. But you can just add another hopper down below it, kind of like one of these other settings that I have, setups that I have. Put another hopper and another chest, and that light will turn off. That is just to let me know if my if my chests are full and I need to add more to the system. Something that's not necessary that I would recommend adding to this system, though, is that this system right here is to determine whether the chest is full, and you could put it right here, or you can put it up here to replace the one that turns that it's on, because if you set this up properly, you might not need something to tell you if it's full all the time or not. But to explain what it is, this comparator is on the negative side. So here you get the full strength signal of 15, which then goes down to 14 before it goes into this comparator that's set to negative. So it will subtract 14 from whatever this signal is. So unless the chest is entirely full and gets a signal strength of 15, this torch will stay on, because it's on because by default, but it will get turned off if this block is powered and the signal comes through around to here. So to show you what I mean by that, right now the chest is almost entirely full. This torch is preventing this hopper from collecting any items from above, though, because it's being powered by it. But if you add, if I can get a good angle on it, okay, if you watch these two, I don't know if it matters watching this one, it's set on the negative right now. If I can get a, yeah, you're not going to be able to really see anything from it. It's powered, but it's not getting enough to activate this down here. So if you look at it from an angle where you can see the torch underneath, though, this torch right here, if we add an item to the system, watch, and this torch will turn off. Just long enough, the item that I drop that comes through the system into this spot right here will get sent to this hopper and then down to this chest. So your items, if this chest gets full, they will continue to be sent down, and this is to prevent, once, you can do this on any of the sorting systems, any of the sorting tileable sets, but it prevents you from getting your inventory totally bogged up, because if these chests fill all the way up, and this one fills up right here, you'll get them stacking up inside your hopper, which won't hurt anything. But once it fills the entire, show one that actually shows it entirely full. Once it fills this entire section, say with the snowballs or with diamonds, if this full stack is full, then the rest of the items will go down to your everything else section. So, if you have enough and you don't care if everything else goes down to the end, if you think, okay, all I need is one chest full, everything else, I don't care what happens to it, then that's fine. But if you would like to be able to empty out the chest and continue them going down the system, then you'll probably want something like this. And of course, I put it here by the items that are not stackable to show you another demonstration. If you have all these items that you're currently using, you're not going to want every time an item comes in here that you're currently using to get dropped there and then get dropped to the bottom. That's not what you're going to want to happen. So what you can also do is put a switch here. You don't need this extra stuff, but if you just want a block, a torch, and a switch, if you turn this switch, it will turn off the torch, and all the items that are currently in here will be dumped down below. And I did it like this because all your tools and armor and whatever you have on you that you're going to be reusing, you may want to be able to save them. So for instance, we'll just let that finish emptying out, and I'll just grab a few items. Say you had your chain set up, and you've got some items here that you really want, and a few enchanting, you wouldn't want enchanting books, but let's say you have a health potion that you want to take out back with you, a couple health potions, and you don't want to have to think about your inventory when you're throwing in that chest. You can just throw everything in that chest, and if this is on, all the items that get sorted down through this system would end up in this chest right here, and you could go back and collect them. Something that is very important to keep note of with this system is that whatever item you use as your sorting helper must be the first of the tileable section of sorting boxes here, directly after the non-stackable items. So, for instance, I'm using a snowball. Now, if, for instance, you did not have your sorting item set up as your first item, you would get, and I can show you what will happen, let's just steal some snowballs from the sorting one. If you did not put it and have them all sorted out there, if a snowball came through the system and it comes to this place right here where it's ready to be compared to, it drops into the system, and let's see what happens to your one that used to sort diamonds. It has just kicked it out of your system. Now, whatever item comes through there again, let's say the next item to come through is cobblestone. Now, cobblestone will come through, and guess what? It becomes your new sorting item. So you're going to end up with your cobblestone all in with your diamonds, which I know you don't want those all mixed together. Who mixes their cobblestone and their diamonds anyways? So make sure that you have your sorting helper set up here in the appropriate place, that you have enough items in there, which there is not enough in there at the moment. Let's grab the one that I tossed out and put it back in. So that now the system is ready. So if a diamond ends up right here, it did not go to the snowballs, it went to the diamonds, and it gets sorted out through the system. So a few things you might consider with this section right here is either keep a whole lot of chests here and be ready to sort them out, or hook up some kind of a dispenser on this system where the items will be, I don't know, either dispensed onto the ground or shot into lava. I would say be careful if you do it with lava that your system doesn't go funky and you lose everything. I personally don't think I would use sending it into lava because I wouldn't want to lose any of my important stuff, but keep an eye on your chest, set up some of these dropping things, and regularly I would just put several chests here and keep several of them cleared out so that if you do happen to toss any snowballs into the system, that it won't bog down the rest of your system. It won't lose all your items and all your work you put into it. And most importantly, like all other builds, make sure that you have fun. While building this, of course, I went through and designed this whole gallery of things that this, I don't know what you'd call it, some kind of a cathedral, who knows what it is. Anyways, which I set it up in for how I might use the items. So, like I said, make sure you have fun. I had a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you can enjoy it too. Like and subscribe if you found this helpful, and give me some comments and feedback as to what you did with it or how I might help improve my setup here. I would appreciate it.